Alright, so here's another one from the Masked Man. This one was 3 months ago, but it says, I didn't think these manhwa would be this good. This is 9 minutes long. We're going to see what this is about. See.
Quest for knowledge, a young man travels up a frozen hellscape to encounter an eldritch being, some say a wizard, a grand wizard, that will grant the wish of any who dare enter its chambers. But what the victim does not realize is that the wish comes with a lifetime of madness, as a sadistic scale that balances their deepest desires. A mix of self-discovery on the journey to the peak of the mountain, and then finding truth in the mad horrors of what we do not understand. You may learn the secrets of the universe, but in turn you can never close your eyes when trying to sleep. The fate of the MC is not one I would wish even on my worst enemy. This is not a manhwa that I'm recommending, but my story as to how I got these recommendations from a friend, and then pulled an all-nighter to get this video made. Here are the manhwa actually worth your time though. I cannot beg for mercy, only choke on trapped screams. These are the opening words for Mime, ongoing and only at 5 chapters following a, failure of a mime. This story begins tragically with this mime trying to stop these men from beating a woman in an alley, only to be killed himself. While the man in the morgue that works for a crime family tends to his body, he wakes up and kills the individuals responsible for his death, putting a target on his back. I cannot stress how much my edgy little heart loves this. For starters, a completely silent main character like a Charlie Chaplin film is such a sick concept given that it really draws you in and makes you pay attention to the facial expressions. On top of that, the powers being him pantomiming what he's doing to his opponents is again visually a delightful thing to see.
So it's pretty much The Crow. Is that what that is? It's not The Crow. I could be wrong. Dude has makeup on the face and he died horribly, but he comes back to life and he wants revenge as a spirit against the bad people who wronged him, pretty much.
Brightro says whoa.
So it was like Mime, but The Crow.
And extremely unique and memorable. And then to see it unfold on top of an intense and non-stop action gritty story, I love
Bright
this.
Row says kinda yes.
Doesn't count
Okay,
as
makes
manhwa,
sense.
But you can read this on Webtoon Canvas, and I need more. Out of everything I'm going to recommend, this has the least amount of reads, and I am not okay with that. I made the mistake of rereading Pun Pun and Shamo within the same week and a half, 2 weeks. Then I watched Madrid lose 2 more times to Barcelona. I want to kill my... For those lows in life, a good upbeat song, or even a good upbeat read can go a long way. 39 chapters and ongoing, using my cooking skills in a
Brightro says so basically a modern crow.
To get a job as a Chinese
Pretty much.
chef that is isekai, wait, don't skip, into another world.
Well, you
and he
could
starts a restaurant
different occupations, same shit.
in ancient China, which, considering he is obsessed with Chinese culture and history, is insanely lucky because he could have woken up in, like, I don't know, say 1933-ish Germany. He gains favor with one of the legendary families in ancient China after putting to good use his modern cooking knowledge and skills, as well as just modern knowledge in general, like with allergies. Pretty straightforward when it comes to this one. Great comedy via references and timing, and overall it's just a fun, relaxing breath of fresh air. Do you like gladiators? How about necromancers? Boom! Combine them. You're welcome. Or thanks should go to the creator of The War on Corpses. You might recognize the art style if you watched the previous recommendation, Corpse Knight Gunther. This series is ongoing and at 13 chapters, introducing a city of necromancers that has a tournament to see who is the best. The fame, the glory, and the validation that it brings is the desire of our MC, who is born in trash and is treated as such. After countless failures of necromancing, he finds a body that also has been labeled as trash, and feeling that connection chooses to take a risk and bring this one to life. On top of loving the art style and action, I like the premise of the series and how both, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even gonna attempt to try and pronounce this one because I feel like there are 5 different ways. I'm not gonna play that guessing game. But if any of you know, put it in the comments. And Eleonora, they need each other since he helps control her right leg, and he also knows the strategy and history of the fighters they go up against, creating a fun dynamic with 2 opposing personalities that have a lot of room to grow. There also seems to be some interesting characters besides those 2 that I'm really excited to see the more of. So this is one that I'm personally going to be following very closely. I don't have many ways to explain this other than Souls the manhwa. Not necessarily because it's a dark fantasy that explains things via more environmental storytelling, but if not because the main character is like those of us who picked up a Souls game for the first time, encountering that one boss, dying over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, we saw it yesterday with me. Jesus Christ, I was getting fucked.
Going in 56 chapters, and follows a hardworking main character that actually keeps some of the initial intrigue of the premise as it goes on, dying over and over again to learn and become better, but to the point where dying seems to become like an addiction for him, a necessary part of the process he learns to embrace. So it's like all you need is kill, or re-zero if it was good. I'm kidding. Hey, look, I'm training you for those group chat arguments. Don't fall for the rage bait. In all seriousness, I'm personally not as big on these types of series in general, and I'm not sure if it's because of the overexposure.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Brian was gonna pounce on you for saying that. I felt like Brian was gonna go throw hands with you saying that. I don't know what it was when he said that, but I can see my boy Brian's eyes turn red at that moment, like the Goblin Slayer. Like, what the fuck? You did not just say that. I felt it for some odd reason. I'm gonna stay quiet. Oh my god, I can. Yo, don't fucking Brian his anime, bro. Don't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Fantasy setting within
what the fuck?
Style of art, whether it's the character.
Bro's gonna turn straight into Escanor and drop a whole song on your ass if you say that shit again.
Designs for most of these things, or maybe I just don't like the premise itself to begin with, overexposed or not. Regardless, because it isn't my cup of tea, doesn't mean you shouldn't read it for yourself. Pearl Boy Ignite the Dawn and Dear Zero need more chapters. That has nothing to do with this video. I was just paid by a friend to say this, so I guess that's the sponsor. Anyways, Kiss Wood is the next
Are you kidding me?
Some of you will never know the brilliance of what I just did, but that's okay. Completed in 34 chapters, it follows an old uncle that likes to tend to his garden, but has seemed to have become negligible of the human relationships he has, in particular with his niece. But one day he finds himself in hell after someone killed him via arson to get rid of his garden. In this hell, you find those that have mistreated the trees, so the Lorax has really seemed to have taken it up a notch. And now the uncle has to escape this massive forest.
I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. For some strange and fucking reason, they're speaking Vietnamese.
To make it back to the living and waking world. This shit was beautiful. It felt like an 80s animated film that makes you cry with that one specific soundtrack damn near every time. I think the way it handled the twists and explored the characters in such a brief amount of time while giving a satisfying journey felt like I read something that was 100 chapters and not just 34. If you like emotional dramas, then you don't need to look further. Seriously, the art style, the way that the series was paced, all of the different emotional highs. Yeah, I just really like this one, and I would highly recommend it. If you happen to enjoy this video so far, consider liking and subscribing. I want to hit 500,000 by the end of the year, so consider this my way of pestering. Earlier, I mentioned how I struggled getting invested into manhwa like The Knight Who Only Lives Today, but one that I think broke that trend was Surviving Romance. Completed in 100 chapters, this series was described to me as super meta and breaking a lot of the norms with romance and the regression trope. I think the early part of the story is such a sick experience to read blind, so if you don't want to know more about it, then skip ahead to the next segment, although this might be the last segment in the video, but yeah, you could just skip. Now, for those that stayed, this series seems like a standard romance story, but then turns into a horror story.
Oh, Mikey's back. Okay, we can play the video that you wanted me to watch. Did you? Oh, Mikey, did you send me the food thing? Because I can't find it. Did you send it? Unless you already did, I didn't notice.
Happy ending. What's really sick about this series is the presentation of her personality and how she views others, seeing them as dark shadows until one of them becomes a person of enough importance, going into a very different direction than I thought the story was going to go down within the first chapters. I feel like too many series have characters that die over and over and go through hell like training or, again, just dying that many times, and instead of growing as characters, they just lack any sort of character whatsoever. The psychological aspect is really well explored in the series while breaking any sort of expectations I had for a romance. Seriously, I did not expect it to turn into a zombie survival series. Like, I didn't look at the tags, I didn't look at nothing. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, this is what we're handling. But again, the psychological horror aspects by far my favorite, on top of doing so many things I would never have expected a romance series to do, having read quite a few when it comes to manga and manhwa.
Alright, cool. I'll check it out.
Must read. If you have anything you would like to see me cover in a future video, the best way is to let me know in the comments down below. And I'm also making a second channel, particularly about professional wrestling. And so if that interests you as well, then stay tuned and check out the community post, because I will definitely be announcing it there and in the next video.
Alright. That's from The Masked Man. That's the second video.